Have you ever tried to speak English, but in your head you are constantly translating every word from your native language first?
It is exhausting, isn't it? By the time you finish translating the sentence in your head, the conversation has already moved on and you miss your chance to speak.
What if you could stop translating and actually start thinking directly in English? Today, we are going to share the best mental exercises to train your brain to speak English naturally.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest challenges for English learners: how to train your brain to think in English so you can speak more fluently. Hi, Sam, how are you doing today?
Hi, Daisy. I am doing great, and I am so glad we are talking about this. So many people tell me, Sam, I understand English when I listen, but when I try to speak, my brain just freezes because I am translating everything.
Exactly, Sam. And the reason we freeze is that translation creates a massive traffic jam in our brains. You hear the English, you translate it to your native language, you think of an answer, you translate that answer back to English, and then you speak. That is 4 steps instead of just 1.
It sounds like a lot of hard work for the brain. So, how do we break that habit? How do we start thinking directly in English?
The secret is to start incredibly small, using a technique called active naming. You don't need to think full, complex sentences in English yet. Instead, look around your room right now and just name the objects you see in English.
So if I look at my desk, I just think desk, computer, coffee cup, pen. Simple words.
Exactly. By doing this, you are building a direct connection between the physical object and the English word, completely skipping your native language. Once that becomes easy, you can move to step 2, describing your daily actions in your head using very simple sentences.
Oh, like a narration of my life? For example, when I wake up, I can think, I am making coffee. I am opening the window. The coffee tastes good.
Precisely. You are practicing English listening and speaking with yourself. And speaking of listening, this is where English listening practice plays a huge role. To think in English, you need to feed your brain the right kind of input.
Right, because if you don't listen to how native speakers naturally structure their thoughts, your brain won't have the patterns to copy.
Exactly. But here is the catch. You need to listen to things you actually understand. We call this comprehensible input. If you listen to a super fast, complex political debate, your brain will get tired and switch off. But if you listen to easy, everyday conversations, your brain naturally absorbs the flow and rhythm.
That makes sense. It is like training a muscle. You don't start by lifting the heaviest weight. You start with something manageable and build your way up.
Yes, and as you listen, you can practice a technique called shadowing. This is where you repeat the words immediately after you hear them, trying to copy the exact pronunciation and emotion. It bridges the gap between listening and speaking.
I love that. So you are training both your ears and your mouth at the same time. But Daisy, what happens when you are speaking to someone and you realize you don't know a specific word? Doesn't that force your brain to go back to translating?
That is a very common trap. When people forget a word, they panic and stop speaking. But the secret to thinking in English is learning how to describe the word you forgot using simpler words.
Oh, that is a great point. Like if you forget the word refrigerator, you can just say, the cold machine in the kitchen where we keep the milk.
Exactly, Sam. That is called circumlocution, which is just a fancy word for describing something when you do not know its name. Native speakers do this all the time too when they forget a word. It keeps the conversation flowing smoothly, and your brain stays completely in English mode.
That takes away a lot of the pressure. So it is not about being perfect, it is about being resourceful.
Precisely. Another fantastic exercise you can do to train your brain is what I call the 5-minute English journal. Before you go to sleep, instead of writing a long essay, just write down 3 simple things that happened today, or 3 things you are grateful for, completely in English.
I really like that idea. Writing helps slow down your thoughts. When you speak, you have to be fast. But when you write, you have time to look for the words and build the sentences without any stress.
Yes, and that extra time helps your brain create stronger pathways. The more you write those simple thoughts, the faster your brain will find those same words when you are speaking the next day.
It really is all about consistency. It feels like training your brain to think in English is like moving to a new house. At first, you do not know where anything is, and you keep reaching for the wrong light switch. But after a few weeks, you can walk around in the dark because your brain just knows where everything is.
That is a beautiful analogy, Sam. And it is completely true. Fluency is just familiarity. The more time you spend inside the language, even just through small daily habits, the more natural it becomes.
So, to summarize our plan for our listeners today, Step 1. Name the objects around you. Step 2. Narrate your daily actions in your head. Step 3. Listen to easy, comprehensible English. And Step 4. Do not panic if you forget a word. Just describe it.
That is the perfect roadmap. And remember, everyone's brain works at a different speed. Do not compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Just focus on making a tiny bit of progress every single day.
Well said, Daisy. You know, thinking about all these strategies makes me realize that changing how we practice can completely change our results. But there is one more big challenge that many learners face.
Oh, what challenge is that, Sam?
What do you do when you live in a place where nobody else speaks English? How do you practice speaking when you are completely alone?
That is probably the question I get asked the most, Sam. And the answer is actually very liberating. You don't need another person to practice speaking. You can talk to yourself.
Talk to yourself? Won't people think you are a little bit crazy if you do that?
Well, maybe if you do it loudly on a crowded bus, but in the comfort of your own home, talking to yourself out loud is one of the most powerful tools you have. When you think in English, you are training your mind. But when you speak out loud, you are training your mouth, your tongue, and your jaw muscles to get used to the physical feeling of English sounds.
That makes a lot of sense. It is like a rehearsal before the actual performance. So, what exactly should you say when you are talking to yourself?
You can start by answering simple questions. Imagine someone is interviewing you. Ask yourself, what is my favorite movie and why? Or, what are my plans for the weekend? Then, try to answer out loud for 1 full minute without stopping. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on keeping the words moving.
I love that. It is a completely safe space. There is no one there to judge you, no one to make you feel nervous, so you can build your confidence completely at your own pace.
Exactly. And if you combine that with the listening and shadowing techniques we talked about earlier, you will notice a massive difference in your fluency in just a few weeks. Your brain will start stepping into the English language much faster and more naturally.
It really shows that you don't need to live in an English-speaking country or spend a lot of money on expensive classes to become fluent. You just need to change the way you use your everyday environment.
Absolutely, Sam. The power to train your brain is completely in your hands.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful tips with us, Daisy.
It was my absolute pleasure, Sam. And to all our wonderful listeners out there, thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. We would love to know, what is one small habit you are going to start today to train your brain?
Keep practicing, stay patient with yourself, and remember, you are doing great. Until next time, have a beautiful day.